Joining me now with more, Mike Boyd, Fox News aviation analyst and aviation consultant for Boyd Group International. Peter Brooks is a former CIA officer and former Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary. And Philip Holloway is a licensed pilot and flight instructor. Peter, let me start with you on this. In light of the most recent developments, looking down on the side of Australia, many saying that this is consistent with a flight path that would have been on autopilot and gone straight past an alternate airport, do you believe that terrorism or hijacking is diminished?
Well, you know, the other possibility, Megan, is that whoever took control of this aircraft didn't want the aircraft to be found and put it out in a place that was very inhospitable to recovery operations or search operations. So as little as we know about possible motivations, I'm not ruling any of those of the above out at this point.
Mike, same question to you.
Absolutely. We don't know anything yet. All we know is the airplane disappeared. At this point in time, there are plausible arguments that it could have been a zombie airplane due to something went wrong in the cockpit, but there's a lot of other information that's come out, misinformation in some cases from the Malaysians, that would indicate to me something's kind of rotten in Kuala Lumpur, and this could have been a terrorist act.
And by zombie airplane, you mean those on board who suffered from decompression and no oxygen and were flying incapacitated, much as they did in the Payne Stewart airplane. I want to ask you, Philip, about this, because many pilots have said, look, don't throw these pilots under the bus, because these may have been heroes, not villains, who were struggling to save this plane from mechanical failure. And that may explain, you know, the coordinates typed in to get to an alternate airport and then just the continuation down south, winding up someplace west of Australia.
Well, you know, Megan, I'm not ready to throw anybody under the bus at this point. However, in addition to being a pilot, I've been a criminal lawyer for the last 18 years, and what I know is that a proper investigation begins with ascertaining facts. And unfortunately to me, the facts suggest that this was a crime, this was a hijacking. The one key fact, and I think you broke it first a couple of nights ago, was that the aircraft made a dramatic turn to the west, and it made that turn prior to the co-pilot making his last transmission to air traffic control. And at that point, the transponders were turned off and the airplane went dark. So that suggests hijacking.
That is a key point. And Scott Brenner, who's a former FAA official, was at the FAA on 9/11, is the one who broke that news here, and yet others have questioned it. We questioned it that very night, Mike, because they were saying, look, the transponder tracked the plane prior to that, and it doesn't match up. In other words, the ascertainable radar data doesn't support that assertion. So I think we have to put a question mark on that information. We don't know it for sure. What we do know is that a destination that was west and not on the plane's original journey was programmed in prior to when they signed off from air traffic control. But I'm not sure what we can glean from that.
Well, we do know that they did not put 7700 into the transponders, which is the emergency code. They did not put 7500 into the transponders, which is the hijack code. They put nothing in there except it was turned off. So again, it has to lead one to the inference that it was a human involvement in this, and it has to be a hijacking or a stolen aircraft.
Mike?
No, I have to agree entirely. And for safety's sake, we have to assume that going forward, if someone has this airplane, and that's a real stretch, and wants to do something with it, sometime in the next 12 months they might do something with it. We need to look into those options. But I have to agree with the lawyer. It doesn't look good. And we can make excuses, but there's too many points here that just don't add up.
Peter Brooks, we had Lieutenant General McInerney on the program suggesting he believes very much that this plane could have made it to Pakistan, and that's where we need to be looking, and that's what we need to be worried about. Your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, Tom is a friend of mine, and I understand his theory there. And what you know, gives some plausibility to it, and I would like to know more about, is why Israel has reacted so strongly to the disappearance of this aircraft. I can't add it any more than to what Tom has told us, based on, because he has the sources. But a few nights ago, we talked about how Israel is very concerned and putting their air traffic controllers and their air defense systems on high alert. So what do they know that the rest of us may not know, if anything, about the disposition of this aircraft?
And a lot of the officials we've had on the broadcast have told us even off the air, that they believe the American officials probably know much more than they're letting on, no matter what that information leads to, mechanical issues, terrorism issues, what have you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.